Hello everyone, welcome back to Grade 1 Theory. Today we are going to cover the scale component. In Grade 1 it is so simple, there are only 4 scales you need to know. It is C, G, D and F major. Right, there are no minor scales, so you don't have to worry about that. Right, how do you write a scale? We're going to do all the scales in treble clef. A scale is exactly what it says. It's a scale of notes. So if we were to write C major, we would have to find the starting note for C major, and the starting note for C major is C. Later on you'll learn that this note is called the tonic note, only in the other grades. But the tonic note is the note that the scale starts on. It's the note that the key always wants to go back to, and often it's the chord at the end of the piece that gives you that satisfying feel. So if you say, I ended on the tonic chord, you know you ended on the home key chord and it felt very satisfying. So you start on the tonic note, or on the first note of C, and you simply put 8 notes going up line space, line space, line space, line space, and you write them neatly and you leave a little bit of space in between them. And what you can do is you can number them if you want to double check your work. But that is C major. C major has no sharps and no flats whatsoever. Get in the shot there. So that's the easiest one, C major, and really there are only 2 steps: writing your notes down and checking that you have 8 notes. Right, the next scale is G, and G major has got 1 sharp. So how do we start? We start by writing these notes. For G major, we start on the tonic, which is G, or on the first note of G, which is G, and we check that we have 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we do. It's neatly written. The examiner won't penalize you for writing badly or not being able to see that those are the notes. And then the last thing we have to do is we have to put in this 1 sharp. Now, this takes me to the next part where you need a little rhyme to show you the order of sharps and flats. And you could just memorize this for grade 1, but what I'd like you to do is look at the rhyme for the order of sharps and flats, because it's invaluable for going forward into the other grades. So there's a little rhyme called fat cat goes down and eats bread. And that is a rather silly rhyme. It's the rhyme I use. Some people use Father Charles goes down and ends battle, and then you say this rhyme backwards: battle ends and down goes Charles's father. In my case, I go bread eats and down goes cat's fat. I like this one at school because I used to mix up Father Charles and Charles's father. So the order of sharps for all major scales is that order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are only 7 sharps and 7 flats in a scale, and the order of flats goes the other way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this little rhyme will help you order your sharps and flats from now and until, well, the end of grade 8 theory, because it's not going to change. And the first sharp, if a scale has 1 sharp, the first sharp is F, and now you look for F and you put in your sharp, and there you've written your G major scale. Okay, let's do another one. D major. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. You leave a little space for the sharps. D major has got 2 sharps. You go to your order of sharps, you say, what are they? They are F and C. Here is an F, and here is a C, and now you have D major. All right. And the last one is F major, which has 1 flat. And at this point, you're just memorizing how many flats these scales have for the purposes of writing the grade 1 test. And F major has got 1 flat. You now go the other way. Flats go this way, sharps go that way, and this is your first flat. You put the flat in front of B as it states on the rhyme. Okay, so that is the way to do scales. I want to show you one last thing. Sometimes they ask where the semitones are in a scale. So in C major, if I had to write out C major, this is the easy way of doing it. The semitones in a major scale are between note 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And in every major scale, they are between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. So all you have to do is learn that configuration in a major scale, 3, 4, 7, and 8. Those are the semitones, and then you can mark them in. But let me explain it to you. So in another module, I said when we were discussing accidentals, it would be a good idea to learn to draw your piano. And if you draw your piano, you can actually see how the configuration of semitones and tones works. So there you have your piano. Learn to draw your piano. I think it's an absolutely invaluable tool. And if you go to the piano, you'll see that from note C to D, there are 2 semitones, up to the black note, back to the white note. So that is a tone. If you go to E, that is also a tone. But if you go from the E to the F, as I've shown you here, you will see that there's no black note, and that makes up a semitone. And then, of course, over here, from B to C, you will see that that is also a semitone. So it's very important to understand that a major scale is the way it is. It sounds the way it sounds because there is a tone here, a tone here, a semitone there, a tone, a tone, a tone, and a semitone. And that's what makes up the actual sound of a major scale. And you'll see that when we get to minor scales and any other scale, the actual configuration of tones and semitones between the notes changes. And that's what makes the sound different. Look out for another video I'm going to post on how to write all your major scales. In grade 1, it's simply 4 scales, so you can just memorize the order of sharps and flats and so on. I have forgotten one thing. One of the things they may want you to do is write the key signature of the scale up front. And how you do that is you simply put, in C major there would be no sharps and flats. In G major you would put the F sharp on the F line, like that. In D major you would put the F sharp in and the C sharp in. So that is covering that note and that note over there, C and F. And on F major, which is 1 flat, you would put the flat on the B. There's the B, and you'd put it on the B line. So sometimes they ask you to write the scale with key signature, meaning that the key signature comes up front, and sometimes they ask you to write the scale without key signature, which means that you put the sharps and flats on the notes. All right, thank you very much.